Hello and welcome to What Are Macros? I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible, but if you have any questions, go ahead and email me. Totally acceptable. Any comments, questions that you have regarding this video. So a macro is a macronutrient. It's just kind of like the nickname for it that everybody talks about on social media, but it is a macronutrient. And what macronutrients are carbs, fats, and proteins, just three categories. And carbs, fats, and proteins are the things that make up calories in your diet. 1 gram of protein is equal to 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate is equal to 4 calories. And 1 gram of fat is equal to 9 calories. So right off the bat, you see carbs and proteins both equal the same amount. You know, they weigh, as far as their value, the same in calories. Fat is over twice as much. So why it's so important not to consume too much fat is because it's twice the amount of calories. Their value is twice as much as protein and carbohydrates. But it's also why when we eat a little bit of fat or a lot of fat, we get really, really full. So keep that in mind. And that's also going to help you look at your food a little bit differently. Next on the list, I have a little cheat sheet here to keep me on track. So I just want to mention that aside from macronutrients, we have micronutrients. Micronutrients do not make up calories. They are not usable energy sources like macros are. Micros are your vitamins and your minerals. And they're also very, very important. So I just want to mention them, even though we're not going to be counting them or tracking them. You can track them, and it will show on MyFitnessPal or whatever calorie macro tracker that you have on your phone or computer. And it's good just to make sure that you're getting the micronutrients that your body needs as well. You'll see that you get more of those in vegetables, of course, and fruits, and just like colorful food in your diet tend to have more vitamins and minerals. So I just wanted to mention that. So the next thing is that when you view your food, I want you to view it not for how it tastes and what you're craving, but for what it is. And so each food that you consume is broken down into macros. For instance, a banana. Bananas do not have nutrition labels on them. They don't have nutrition facts like most packaged foods do. Bananas are a fruit and they come off of a tree. And so what you have to do is weigh it on a scale by grams, and you will look for it in your app, MyFitnessPal or a different app. But I'll just talk about MyFitnessPal because that's what I use. So when I looked it up, it said a banana weighing 118 grams has 27 carbs, 0.4 grams of fat, and 1 gram of protein. So when we talk about the value of macronutrients in a food, we're referring to the grams of macronutrients within your food. So again, 118 gram banana, so just the banana weighed, that's the weight of it. That's how you determine your serving size and what you will log into your FitnessPal. I want to emphasize that when you log your food, it's every single thing that you put in your mouth and swallowed that has calories for the day. So when you weigh that banana, you log it, whatever weight that you ate, and that's it. So if you weigh something and log it and then you didn't eat the rest of it, you're going to weigh whatever you didn't eat and subtract that from what you thought you were going to eat and log it. So if you were going to eat 118 grams of that banana and you only ate 100, then log 100 grams, not 118 grams. Same thing goes for anything else. On the flip side, if you decide to take a bite of your child's candy bar, you didn't weigh it, so you shouldn't have taken a bite. But if you do want a bite, break a piece off, weigh it, and then log it accordingly. And no, it wouldn't be like an exact serving size. And so you want to look at the weight of the serving size. And then what you would do is say, I don't even know, but I'm just gonna throw some numbers out there. So say the candy bar serving size was 100 grams. You look up that candy bar on MyFitnessPal, and let's say you ate 25 grams of that candy bar. So you ate a fourth of it. So you can go under MyFitnessPal, and we'll go over this later in a different video, but you can log a fourth of a serving and it'll just come up. But you need to make sure that you weighed it out so that you can predict, or so that you know that your serving was a fourth of a serving. Or you can maybe put in the grams, but not likely. So just making sure you're doing that like simple division. So anyways, just want to point that out. If you didn't use an app, which you will, and it's totally easy, but if you didn't use an app and you wanted to use the 4-4-9 rule, meaning 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carb is equal to 4 calories, and then 1 gram of protein is equal to 9 calories. So say you ate the banana and you wanted to calculate that on your own, what you would do is multiply 27 grams by 4, which would give you the calories. And then 0.4 grams of fat by 9 would give you an X amount of calories. And then 1 gram of protein times 4 would give you 4 calories. And so you add up those 3 sets of calories, and that would give you the total calories of the banana that you ate. So on MyFitnessPal, when I looked at it, it said it was 105 calories. But for the purpose of this video, I decided to calculate what calories it would have added up to using the 4-4-9 rule. And what it came up with was 115 calories. So using the rule, it was 10 calories over what MyFitnessPal put. So I don't want you to like stress about that, but if you, for whatever reason, aren't using a tracker, you can use the 4-4-9 rule and kind of, go off of that. There are certain foods that will be under that calculation, and some foods will put that the calories are over what the calculation would have come up with. So anyways, just want to point that out, but definitely not something that you need to know, but it's good to know. But again, don't get overwhelmed. It does get easy, and your FitnessPal will remember what you've logged previously, so it gets easier and easier to log if you're eating the same things. So anyways, we've gone over the value of the macronutrients and how it breaks down in like a non-packaged food item. Oh, the other thing that I want to mention, and I'll use the banana as an example, is when we look at food like this banana, it is predominantly a carbohydrate. It has trace amounts of fat, 0.4 grams of fat, and 1 gram of protein, and 27 carbs. So when we talk about a banana, you can say, yeah, that's a carb, but of course it has trace amounts of the other 2 macronutrients. Okay, so now that we've talked about not unpackaged foods and how you can just basically find them in MyFitnessPal. If you have a question about the serving size and the macronutrient breakdown in your vegetable or fruit or anything else that's not packaged, you can just look it up online, and then if get a few different resources and figure out what looks about right. And you can do the same thing on MyFitnessPal. So we're gonna move on to processed food. So I have this can of bumblebee tuna in water, and so we're gonna go over the nutrient label. The nutrient facts are always on packaged foods. They have to be. So make sure that you look at that. So we don't want to forget the micronutrients at the bottom. It's good to kind of just look at that, take note of it. You want to eat something that has a lot of micronutrients in it. So first, let's look at serving size. It says 2 ounces drained, so you want to make sure you drain the water out. And then it also says a serving size is 56 grams. Let's try and symbolize this. It says that a serving size is 56 grams, which is about a fourth of a cup. What I don't want you to do is to take a fourth of a cup out and pack a bunch of tuna in it. What I want you to do is always, always, always use your food scale. And I would just weigh this out in grams. I mean, you could do 2 ounces drained, or you could do 56 grams. Ounces or grams, both very acceptable, as long as you're weighing it on the food scale. I don't want you to see you try and log fluid ounces. It wouldn't even allow you to do that, I hope. You want to make sure that you have the right weight measurement. And are you eating 1 ounce, or are you eating 1 serving, or are you eating 2 servings? Because as you can see, this tuna has 2 servings in it. So if you eat the whole can, sure, you could log 2 servings. But if you're working with me, I don't want you to just, oh, I ate the whole can, so that was 2 servings, I'll log 2 servings. No, because not all packaged foods are accurate in this area. So I could weigh this, and it says it's, 2 ounces for 1 serving. So this should have 4 ounces exactly, right? Well, it might have a little bit less, and it might have a little bit more. We want to make sure that we're logging to the T. When you go off into your, more realistic life, and you're not logging to the T, that's fine. You can be like more lenient on yourself and not weigh it like crazy. But with me, I want you to be very exact, just so that you really know what you're eating and you can see it for what it is, and understand that there are discrepancies in nutrient facts. So always make sure that you're weighing your food. I don't even care if you eat this whole can. Do not put that you had 2 servings. You want to weigh it, and if it ends up being 4 ounces exactly, and that's all you ate, then that's what you would log. You can see that it's 60 calories per serving, and we don't really care about that. So we look at the macronutrients. Total fat is 0. You go over here to the carbs. Total carbs is 0, and then protein is 13 grams. So this food only has 1 macronutrient in it, and it's protein, so pretty good thing to eat. Let's see. The other thing we can look at is sugars under carbs. We want to make sure that you're not eating a ton of sugar. We want to try and keep it as clean as possible. I always suggest to keep it clean, meaning fruits, vegetables, lean meats. No, not too many additional sauces, processed foods, or frying your meat and stuff, or anything that you're adding like a ton of fat to. Also, when you fry your food, it's hard to track the oil that you're consuming. So you want to weigh everything. So if you cook with oil, you're gonna have to weigh that oil, log that oil, and then you'll eat it in the food. But you'll probably not end up eating all of it because it sticks to the pan and stuff. So anyways, I always suggest just keeping it clean, keeping it simple, and then your body will thank you later for it. As I mentioned, I don't want you using cups or spoons as forms of measurement. I want you to use the food scale for all of your food and drink. If you have some juice, you have to weigh it out. That has carbs in it. It has macronutrients in it. Anything that has calories in it, you have to weigh it out, okay? Also, not only just drinks, but creamers, sauces. If there's seasoning that has calories in it, weigh that, although I don't have any that actually has that. Unless it has sugar or something in it, it shouldn't have any calories, so you don't have to worry about logging those. I'm not that picky. You don't have to log things that don't have calories, because we're tracking macronutrients. If it doesn't have calories, it doesn't have macros in it. Okay, so now what I want you to do is make a list of macronutrients that you personally enjoy. So if a food has all 3 macronutrients in it, but like the banana, you would list under carbs. If something, let's say like peanut butter, is processed, so it's a little bit more complex, it has, I think, an even amount, or a fairly even amount, of fat and carbs, and a little less protein than fat and carbs. Don't quote me on that. So that's kind of like a combination of macros, and so you can put that into a separate category if you want. You just need to make note of that when you're logging your food. Yeah. But try to just make a clean list, fruits, vegetables, breads, that sort of thing, ice cream, any treats that you'll be eating, hopefully not too much. I want to keep it pretty clean. So 90% of your diet should be good, healthy food. And then you have, because it's flexible dieting, because it's macros, you have the option of including treats and sweets and whatever that will kind of curb your appetite into your diet. So you can do that, and I won't judge you for it, I promise. I just want to try to promote health with your fitness. So let's see. So carbs, an example of protein would be like this tuna, chicken, any meat really, egg whites. If a whole egg would have some fat in it, which is fine, but you just have to make note of that. So that's protein. Let's see, fats would be avocado, oils, nuts. Nuts have carbs. Oh wait, nuts have fat, well, protein and carbs. So you just need to make note of that, but they are pretty dense in fat. I don't want to see you putting peanut butter under protein because it really does have more carbs and fat than it does protein. It has protein, but it's not like a really good protein source. You could also put protein powder under protein if you want. Beef jerky usually doesn't have a ton, well, some of them have a lot of carbs because they have like a lot of sugar in them, but mostly they are pretty good and not high in fat at all. So there's that. Let's see, yogurt, if you do like non-fat yogurt, you'll have, you know, no fat, just a lot of protein and probably an equal amount of carb, or at least the Light and Fit Dannon Greek yogurt that I use. That's what the macro breakdown is for that. So I have an example of like my list of carbs, fats, and proteins in the document that I sent you. So you can look at that as reference, but I want you to email me your list, what you like to eat, what you will be eating, and so that you can refer to that list for grocery shopping and for creating your own meals. So, because when you do create your own meals, you're basically gonna grab from that list, create a, you know, a meal. So an example of a meal would be sweet potato would be my carb, chicken would be my protein, and fat could be in my chicken. So usually you don't have to like add fat to your meals because it's usually already there. But if it's not, then you can choose. So if you have egg whites and avocado and some fruit, you have your protein, your fat, and your carb, and you have a balanced meal there. I'm kind of jumping the gun here because that's a part of a different video, but go ahead and make those lists and email me and we'll move on to the next step.